Resource Network's Recovery 201. I almost forgot what it was called. Good morning. I'm in a fabulous mood today, and I'm so excited to be here. Um, Wanted to let you know that Promise Resource Network has a warning. It is a place you can call if you need to talk to someone. Let's see, and that's the number 833-390-7728. It's a good place to call. It's manned by people that understand, are good listeners, and have resources for you. So if you are in need just to talk to someone, give us a yell. We're here for you. Okay? So today we're going to talk about, I've got my phone, and please don't think I'm just, chat, because I can't see that. So today we're going to talk about accepting ourselves. Accepting ourselves. Good topic. I need it. Okay. So accepting, what does that mean, accepting ourselves? To be at peace with. To be comfortable in our own skin. I am driven for that. I want to be comfortable. I want to be peaceful. I want to be able to do what I need to do in this world, in recovery, to make a difference. And when I accept myself, I'm more likely to accept others. Make sense? Yeah, I think it does. So, the first thing, dun, dun, dun. Assess ourselves and others' behavior and influence. Okay. Behavior being what we do, and influence being the type of pressure people put on us could be an influence. The type of wisdom somebody gives us could be and we want to ourselves and others. Okay, so we start with ourselves, of course. We review our strengths. Not easy to do sometimes, especially in the beginning of recovery, because I'm not used to looking at my strengths. Socially, society teaches us to look at what's wrong with us, to put us in that box, right, Alan?
Yes.
And keep us in that box. But we have power. We have strengths. We have gifts and talent and abilities. And we want those things. But I got to identify first. I got to know what's in me that keeps me. What's in me that keeps me going. That makes me gifted in a certain thing. So when we talk about our strengths, we don't talk just about, I'm funny, I'm pretty, those kind of things. We want to dig deep. We want to dig deep into our strengths. Are you a good listener? That's one of the greatest things we can give someone, to actually sit down, be quiet, to think about what I'm going to say when you're done. Listen to actually hear someone, to actually hear what's going on. We don't have any chat yet. Come on, folks. Let's get this started. So, we want to look at our strengths. What else do we do? I'm compassionate. I am a compassionate person. I care about other people, and I care about how they do in life. My goal is I strive every day to be one that gives love. That's one of my strengths. To give love, to give compassion, to give empathy. And it's probably one of your strengths too, right? So we want to take a look at our strengths. What do I do well? What is in me that is a gift to me? Because when I look at my strengths, it tells me where I can go, what I can build on. Right? We've lived in this deficit world where we check, well, you got 97 right, but you got 3 wrong. That's what we look at. That's what we learn, to look at the negative. But and looking, this is another one. Looking at what we've overcome, what we have survived. Everything up to this point, you have been successful in 100% of the time. Trying, still pushing. 100% of the time, you've been successful. Oh, that's good news, isn't it? That's a way to think about it. That's the way I've got to think about it. I've got to remember my hardships so I can remember my recovery. Right? What I've lived through, what I've learned as a result of that. So we take a look at all that we have overcome. All that we have overcome. And that's powerful because that can help us realize how resilient we are, how capable we are. It can identify some of our gifts too. The ability to keep going, the power we have, and the understanding we have with that power. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Does that sound good to you, looking at our strengths and what we've survived? Is that a good place to start, Alan?
Yes, because it's very positive. Because I do this myself. We've all been through major challenges, and we've had times when we've fallen back, when we've, for lack of better words, failed or haven't met, and that can be pretty devastating.
Yeah.
So every time something positive happens, in other words, we need to develop a new mindfulness of what's going on. It's too easy to focus on negatives. Like at the end of every day, I try to remind myself, well, today, look, I did this and this and this.
Yes.
We need to get into the habit
that's
of
nice.
taking stuff every day.
Yes.
Ideally, write a journal every day. I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
But I think every day at the end of the day, okay, what did I do today? Yeah. What did I do well, better?
Yep.
So we need to work. We need to be our best friends, our most encouraging allies.
Absolutely, and that helps in our acceptance of self. Absolutely, thank you, Alan. That habit of positivity. And I like that.
And what else happened? I came here this morning, and I greeted the staff, and I got from one staff just this tremendous accolade of how good it is to see me here. And I set a good example because I keep plugging away and I don't give up. And
yes.
And he appreciates that. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
No, and that's good.
What a great way to start my day.
We're going to talk about the people in our lives too, and how we can, we're going to talk about that in a second, what they do to help us, right? But the next thing that we've got to look at, because it is important, what our barriers are. What behaviors do I have that don't benefit me? What am I doing that's not working for me? Right? Is it Is it not listening to wisdom? Is it not being compassionate? The negative things that we do, is it being rude to people? What is it that I do that doesn't benefit me? Because if I can identify them, then I can begin to shift that behavior by, like Alan said, shifting our thoughts. Our thoughts, our emotions, our behavior, right? If I can identify what doesn't work for me, I can begin to do things to change that behavior so I don't have to do it anymore. Remember, recovery is simply doing what works and not doing what doesn't work. That makes sense or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Alan.
One of the lessons I've learned addressing what you just said
Uh-huh.
is to think intelligently. In other words, when I get ready to do something, in the past, almost every time I would do it on impulse.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't think, well, okay, now, if I do this, what will be the negative results? What will be the positive results? If I don't do this, what will be the negative result?
Yes.
What will be the positive result?
Nice.
And I stop and think, and I developed this new mindset, and it served me very well.
So
So
take a look at. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
instead of acting impulsively, stop and think for a minute. And it works. It's worked for me, and it's going to work for anyone else who tries it.
Yeah. I agree with that, Alan. That ability to choose. That I still am impulsive. I'm very impulsive and I'm very dramatic. So those two things together don't go well.
Drama queen.
But we want to look at that. I want to look at what works and what doesn't. I want to look at my strengths and those things that are barriers that I can change. That I can change. Right? We look at ourselves from a realistic way and not to get stuck in the negative. I can get so overwhelmed. But remember, this is just a process. There's more to it. There is more to it. All right, the next thing is about others. The people in our lives. Right? The other people that affect us. What are their strengths? Identify one person and think about what are their strengths? What do they help me with? What is in them that inspires me? What do they do that helps me, that supports me, that keeps me in wisdom? What do they do? And it's about the behavior. Do they answer the phone? Do they show up when they're supposed to? Do they act towards me in a way that doesn't help? Look at the behavior. See, I always say we can say wonderful things in a meeting, in a class, all that. We can say glorious things. But if you go outside and I'm standing there gossiping, you need to understand that my behavior doesn't match my words. Right? Talk the talk, but not walk the walk. We want to walk the walk today. So I want to make sure that the people I'm around, I take a look at. Because I want the most positive people in my life. I want the most helpful people in my life. Right? We've only got 24 hours a day. 8 of it you're sleeping. 8 of it you're working or volunteering or studying or being at peace. That leaves 8 hours, which can allow. What am I doing with that? What am I doing with that time? Right? I want to be able to have people in my life that add to that time, that give me the oomph to get through. What are their strengths? What do they bring me? What do they bring me? Yes, Al.
Make a list of those positive people.
Mm-hmm.
Put it where you can see it every day, like at the kitchen table. I'll just write it on a 3x5 card, put it on the lamp next to it, and I can look at it every day. The list of those people.
Yep.
Or on any mirror that you might look at every day, maybe the bathroom mirror, wherever you can see it every day easily. That's a great way to remind you.
Who's got your back? To remind us who has our back. That's
It's a
beautiful.
Physical, actual reminder.
I carry with me in my wallet a small list, it's very small type, of my people. And I have their numbers beside it because, stuff happens. You drop your phone in the toilet. You got a landline, right? Everybody, I just look up somebody's name. I don't look at what the number is anymore. Okay, we got some comments here. Good. Cedric's in the house. Hey, Holly. Kim's in the house. Let's see. Everybody's saying hello. Holly's a great attitude of gratitude. Absolutely. I want to be able to talk about these things. To talk about and look at other people's strengths in my life. What are the negative behaviors that people have? The people in our lives, who doesn't meet our needs? Who is not beneficial for us? How do they show that? By not answering the phone. By not showing up when they're supposed to. By being rude. By belittling. We want to look at the behaviors of other people. And the negative ones show us what doesn't work. Right? They show us what doesn't work. And that can be one of the most beneficial things. To know what doesn't work is a big thing. Because then you don't have to waste your 8 hours on that. All right. The next one is critical. Who actually feeds you? I don't mean physically. Who feeds your spirit? Who feeds your spirit? Who are those people that bring you wisdom, that inspire you, that help you get through those difficult times? We need to know who our people are, who our tribe is, who is there for us, right? Our entourage. So we want to be able to figure out who in our life is able to help us, to actually use those strengths in a behavior that benefits us, that inspires us. Right? I've got so many people that inspire me. Alan's one of them. And the resilience in others is so wonderful that it just keeps me going. It keeps me going. So, reviewing our strengths and what we've overcome, reviewing what doesn't work in our lives, taking a look at others and their strengths, their behaviors, what works with them and what doesn't, and identifying who your people are. Who are your people? We need to know that.
Very good.
All right, the next thing. Big one. Forgiveness and amends. Forgiveness and amends as a part of acceptance. I don't know about you. Get a drink first. But I've got an itty bitty shitty committee in my head. And they meet quite often. Right? They come together and they converse and tell me that I'm not worthy, that I'm not smart, that I'm not capable, that I'm not resilient, that I'll never make it. All those things. All that negativity. And without really being conscious, like Alan said, having the ability to think through, to pause for a moment, to think, is this benefiting me? Are these words in my head the truth? Right? I'm going to try to do this. Are they the truth? Think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? I need to ask those things to myself too. Not just other people. I need to ask those things to myself. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If that doesn't meet the test we assessment, I need to try to shift that thing, right? Which is difficult, but it can be done. It can be done. I can shift I can shut down the meeting. I can shut down the itty bitty shitty committee. I'll shut that meeting down and tell everybody to go home. I can do that with things like gratitude and affirmations and talking to people that love us and inspire us and care for us, right? So I can shut down the meeting. It's hard because they want to stay there, but I can practice. I can practice saying things to myself that benefit, saying things to myself that are true. Right? Another thing that's really hard is to let go of blame. Blaming ourselves and blaming others. I've always heard, because with blame comes guilt and sometimes shame. I understand that guilt, my understanding is that guilt is feeling bad over doing something, right? Something you did. Shame is feeling bad about who you are. Shame goes deep, right? And when we blame other people or we blame ourselves, it can shame us. It can belittle us. It can make us small. And that's not what I need today, right? I need to be full size and armored up, right? So letting go of blame, letting go of that it's your fault. I got to remember today that grown-up people make grown-up decisions, and they get grown-up consequences, and that applies to me, and that applies to everybody else too. When I blame somebody else, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that. But if I take care of my part, right, and that's the next thing. And amends isn't I'm sorry. And amends is going to someone, saying what you regret doing, and asking them how you can make it right. What behavior can I do to make this right? We leave it up to the other person. I'm sorry, I wore it out. I'm sorry out. I had so many things to apologize for. And most of the time I meant it. Most of the time I truly was sorry. But it didn't change my behavior. And amends is when we actually shift as a result of something we did in the past. Remember, we review the things in our past that didn't work for us. And that's what we need to do with amends. What I need to do with amends, right? I need to figure out what didn't work for me and what didn't work for others, right? I need to figure out how to make it right. And going to another person, going to that person and saying, I really regret doing this, and this. How can I make it right? And that gives influence in the other person, as opposed to just saying I'm sorry and not changing anything or shifting anything. It's about our behavior today. It's less about what I say and more about what I do. It's recovery. More about what I do today. I mean, we can all talk a good talk. Right? We want to be able to do the next right thing. All right. Roberta's in the house. Polly says, my dad, before he passed away, warned me to be aware and stay clear of people who make false promises. That's an excellent example of stuff we don't need, of stuff that doesn't benefit us. False promises. If somebody keeps promising us something, they don't come through. I need to be aware of that. I need to think about that. I need to assess that and see, is this the kind of person I need in my life? And I also need to say, is that the kind of person I am? Do I show up? Do I show up in the center? Do I answer the phone? Do I text back? Do I show up? Am I there when I need to be? Right? A lot of people can promise us they got our back, but when it comes down to it, they don't. That's why we've got to choose different. That's why we've got to choose different. And to have that power that allows us to make an amends and possibly bring that person back in our life as a result of doing something different. There are a lot of people that have supported me in the past that can't support me now. And it's up to me to reach out. It's up to me to make those amends and see and accept. In accepting ourselves, we've got to accept what other people give us to. We don't have to like it, but we have to accept it, and we don't have to stay there. But we need to be able to understand that we all do the best we can do with what we got. I did the best I could do with what I had. And one of the biggest coping skills I had was alcohol, which led to thoughts that didn't work for me, that lack of thinking through, like Alan said, emotions that were overwhelming. Alcohol made my depression worse. It really did. It's a depressant. I was drinking to be happy. I was one of those criers too. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. So very embarrassing. But alcohol made things worse. And I had to make amends to people. And it was hard. It was hard. And I'm still doing it. On a daily basis, if I can look in the mirror and say, I haven't harmed myself or anyone else, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, all right, y'all, talking us out there. Roberta. Oh, New York is bad for her recovery. You stick with us, babe. You stick with us. Call the warm line. Watch our classes. I know you can't be here in person anymore, but watch our classes. We're here. And we're here for all of you. Okay. Back to accepting ourselves. The last part is letting go. Letting go of all that doesn't work. Letting go of people. Letting go of blame. Letting go of shame. I've always heard that, and I've experienced that I never let go of anything that doesn't have claw marks in it. Where I have held on so desperately. So desperate. So letting go is a big part of it. And the first part of it, you'll help me with this, Alan, is feel it. We got to walk through our emotions. I got to be able to feel anger and accept that that's part of me, and accept that that's not a bad part of me. Anger is natural. So is sadness. So is fear. All these things are natural, and I've got to feel those feelings as I go through them. All right, what do you think, Alan?
Well, as far as anger, now that's an emotion can be very strong.
Yes.
That can be used positively to decide what actions you're going to take to correct something that has led you to feel angry. Rather than just getting angry and just running around cussing
Yes.
and throwing things and maybe being nasty to other people, think about, okay, why am I angry? What happened? And what are my options? What can I do? I use this energy again.
Yes.
Use the strong energy from anger to lead you into a positive direction.
There's power in our feelings.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have power in our feelings, but I don't take advantage of that because I shift. When I start feeling something really strong, I'll shift. I'll shut down. Okay? What I can do that I think would be more beneficial for me is to walk through that. To feel it, to let it be a part of me. I don't have to stay there, but I can have the power to walk through my feelings, to be able to feel what I need to feel so I can get over it. If I stuff my anger, Alan was talking about anger, if I stuff my anger, it's not going away. But if I actually feel it and walk through it, makes a big difference. All right, the next thing. Say it. Tell it. I've got a friend that says, tell it. Tell it. Open up to someone. Find that person you can trust. Find that person that you trust that can listen with an open mind. It's important that we tell our truth because it not only helps us, it helps other people. It helps other people. And when we are able to speak our truth, speak that feeling, it helps. It helps like letting the pressure out of the balloon. If I hold the balloon in, eventually I'm going to do something. Somebody's going to make me angry. Somebody's going to make me sad. And that balloon is going to go all over the place, right? Like I do. That's kind of weird. So I want to be able to feel those feelings, but what helps me is talking about it. I've got to have someone that I can trust. And it doesn't, you know what, you don't have to have a significant relationship with them. It can be a stranger. Just get it out. Just get it out. But it's good to have that person. That person that you know has your back. That you know is not going to tell your business. That's critical. Right? And to remember that if, the sun's out of my eyes. Remember that if somebody gossips with you, they're gossiping about you. Right? So I need to be careful who I talk to, who I spill out this part of. And if people can't handle it, if people can't handle that part of me, that's fine. That's fine. That's not their thing. And I'm cool with that. But I need to figure out who my person is, who I can say, who I can talk to. And the last thing, once I am at that point where I've figured out what are my strengths, what are my barriers, what are the things and the people that work for me. Have I walked through it? Have I let go? Have I forgiven myself and others? Have I done things to help me get my feelings out so I'm not stuck. The next thing is the most important, I think. We use all of this information. Do you hear the bugs? The cicadas?
Cicadas.
They're loud. We use all these things, all this new information to figure out how I can change my behavior, how I can do things better, how I can do things that benefit me as opposed to take away that cost me. I want to be able to change constantly to the better, to the person I was designed to be. That's what I think that there is a plan. I think that nothing has to be wasted. So that experience, that knowledge that I've gained can help me change. What is it I don't want to do anymore? Right? What is it that doesn't work for me? What is it that doesn't work for other people? I want to be able to know that too. I want to be able to know that. That's really, Roberta says, hey. Oh, thank you, Holly. Holly says this is true. Needing to be with someone who listens. When my pain, no matter what type, is high and the most beautiful things around me look ugly because of the pain. I need a safe person who knows that will pass as long as I can safely them. Absolutely. We need that person. We need that person. If you don't have that person, call me online. Call me online. Good folks on this. Good folks. So, when we're in the process of accepting ourselves, I'm going to go over it again real quick. We take a look at ourselves and other people's actions. Does this work for me? What are my strengths? What are my barriers? I want to look at that for other people too. What are their strengths and goals? And a big one, who feeds you? Who is in your corner? Who has your back? Who inspires you? Who feeds you? Forgiveness and amends. 2, break up the meeting with the itty bitty shitty committee. Break that meeting up. Stop that thought. Change it. Shift it. Apply gratitude. Whatever we have to do to shut down the meeting. Let's do it. Let's do it. Letting go of blame is a big one. Letting go of blame, guilt. Making amends is critical because it helps me change my behavior. I don't want to do that behavior because I don't want to do an amends. It has stopped me several times, many times. Just because I didn't want to make amends to somebody, I didn't do what I wanted to do, which was negative. Well, let that help. And then letting go. Feel it. Say it. Change it. To accept ourselves is the greatest accomplishment. To accept ourselves as we are, who we are. To be comfortable in our own skin. To be one. We are. All right, I want to thank you all for being here. Warm line, give it a call if you need to, 833-390-7728. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Alan, for your wisdom.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Glad to contribute.
I appreciate it. All right. We will see you next week, Tuesday at 10 for Recovery 201. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to my guests out there who were in the chat. All right. See you later.